As I read my Bible this morning, I was reminded of what my son said about his addiction. He said, I didn't have a drug problem, I had a lack of God problem. And right now in our country, we have a lack of God problem. You know, Daniel 9:21 says God raises up kings or leaders, and Romans 13:1 says there's no authority except those instituted by God. What are we going to do with that? We don't have to like our president. Let's face it, he's not easily likable. We don't have to agree with him. But that is missing the point. If we really believe, then we trust that God chose him for a purpose. And have you seen some of the flawed characters God used in the Bible? The point is God's sovereignty, not our opinions or feelings. I keep saying when we criticize, we're criticizing God. We have a lack of God problem in our nation. We say we believe in God, but do we believe God and his word? Do we trust God? Or do we kick against the goads, as Jesus told Saul in Acts? Meaning we resist his divine will and work. You see, Saul believed in God, but he was persecuting the church under the guise of doing God's work. He was actually in rebellion against God. He was the problem. And too many people today would rather ignore God's will than submit to it, because that means we'd have to look at ourselves and how we might be wrong. And lots of people are too prideful for that. You want to hate Trump, that is your choice. But just know, hate never is from God. You just prove more about yourself than Trump. If you say you're a Christian, then show some grace and mercy, because unloving tones and words prove otherwise. We're in a spiritual war, and we're either on God's side or Satan's, and there's no middle ground. How about we all just get on our knees and ask God what he's up to and why? Start trusting him. Criticizing just proves we're not trusting. Maybe you have a lack of God problem yourself. Isaiah 30:18 says, God waits to be gracious. Maybe God's just waiting for us, so-called Christians, to humbly seek him and his will and pray and confess our sins and turn from our wicked ways. Then he will heal our land. And he can use anyone he sees fit to do that.